go. Okay. And I'll wait for 5 seconds before we start. So I'll just make a pause. Any final questions?
No, I think that's it.
Awesome. All right. All right. All right. We'll just pause for 5 seconds to get started. Hey, Paul, good morning.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, can't complain.
All
Great
right.
to see you.
Great to see you. So, Paul, could you please introduce yourself and your company?
Absolutely. My name is Paul Farago. I'm the founder and CEO of Ace Marks, and we're a direct-to-consumer men's luxury shoe company.
Great. And Paul, what's your biggest challenge right now in business with Ace Marks? What's the biggest challenge?
Well, as an entrepreneur, I think that we're always dealing with a lot of different challenges, but probably my biggest challenge at the moment is figuring out a great way to scale. We've been trying different approaches, testing different channels, and I'd say, especially since the pandemic, it's been a little bit difficult to identify a channel that we can really run with. And so the last year and a half has definitely been challenging for us, and we've been just kind of trying to figure out and play it by ear, and hopefully as the world comes back to normal, we'll be able to identify and run with it.
Yeah, I can imagine it's not been easy because you sell luxury Italian shoes to men, and men have not been going to the office in the last year and a half for the most part.
No, absolutely. It's been a huge challenge. We know on the one hand that it's not so much about our business. It's been a demand problem. But at the same time, that's also been an interesting challenge in and of itself. Like how much do we pivot? How much do we stay the course? I should say consumers' buying habits have changed. People aren't working in offices anymore. They're not dressing up as much. Do we change our product mix? Do we just kind of buckle down and hope for everything to come back to normal? So all those things have been part of the overall challenge of scaling and just trying to figure out the right product mix, like I said, to go with and to run with and get to the next level.
Awesome. So what's your, greatest leadership learning from this period? You just dealt with 18 months of a pandemic that took a serious hit on your business. And you've definitely had to step it up as a leader, like everybody else who survived this and is still going through it. What's been your biggest leadership learning in how you run your team and how you run your company?
It's probably been honesty, just being honest with them, kind of letting them know with the challenges that we're facing, the realities of the business. We had to unfortunately cut some people. We had to reduce the pay of some other people that we have. We did as much as possible. We did everything that we could to maintain everyone. And we did that. I'd say we maintained 90% of our staff through the pandemic. But at the same time, we let them know that it's a difficult time. It's a challenging period. And we kind of used that a little bit to build the spirits of our team as much as we could, letting them know that they're all an integral part of the business. They're an integral part of how we move forward, and that we're doing everything we can to keep them on. And I think that they mostly appreciated that, and it made them feel a little bit more connected to our business goals, to our business overall, and to our mission. So it's, with every bad situation, there's always a silver lining. So as terrible as the last year and a half was, there have definitely been some positives that came out of it, and just letting our team know that has been a big part of us being where we are even today.
Do you feel positives in regard with how your team perceives the company and perceives you as a leader, or how you perceive them as team members for having gone through this battle together, this maybe, series of battles together that we're still facing?
Yeah, I think so. I think that they all have seen everything that we've gone through, that I've personally gone through. And they appreciate that I've continued to try to change things in the business, and I never gave up, right? And I never let them give up. And I think that they appreciate that. And I never gave up on them. And as a result, they never gave up on me and on the business. So when you put all those things together, I think that it's a recipe for success, whether now or in the future. So hopefully we're able to figure it out now as we're coming out of the pandemic, and and building and start building again.
And Paul, I know that the pandemic wreaked so much havoc on your industry as a whole of, luxury shoes, Italian shoes, men's shoes, that there were a lot of opportunities that came out from companies that were struggling, offering opportunities for you to acquire them, seeing lots of shifts in the market. How have you been dealing with all of those opportunities and maintaining focus to do what's right for your company? How has that worked out for you?
Yeah, so you're exactly right. I think one of the first things that I thought of when the pandemic hit was that we're in, from a big picture perspective, we're not in terrible shape. And I knew that a lot of my competitors would probably be in worse shape. So I saw the pandemic as an opportunity to possibly acquire some of them or merge or do something together and to come out of this stronger with hopefully more revenue and more resources at our disposal. And it's definitely been a little bit of a distraction. So between that and, just trying to figure out the product mix, it's been a little bit difficult. And as a result, I've had to lean a little bit more on my team. I had to hire a virtual assistant, which I hadn't done before. And actually, as a result of just opening myself up to that, getting more help, it's led to actually some cost savings because I've realized there's different ways and different processes we can put into place that would allow us to go beyond just the talent pool here we have locally, but also start looking at opportunities around the world. And slowly but surely, we're starting to transition into some of that. But yeah, definitely being able to look at the different opportunities while still managing the day-to-day, because we're a small team. I do a lot of the work myself, has been difficult. But again, I think a challenge is what makes being an entrepreneur fun, and every day is a little bit different. And I'm not doing the same thing over and over and over again. So I never get bored.
Yeah. And I know you looked into different product mix with more casual line of shoes as one thing. And you also launched a different brand of shoes to sell through Amazon, which is not something you were doing before. So lots of new innovations in your company and new strategies.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think that, again, that just comes into that idea that the pandemic, as bad as it was an opportunity for us to try new things, to test new things, and it forced us to get out of our comfort zone. Before, the vision was very clear. The pandemic definitely obfuscated everything, and it caused us to go onto Amazon to try selling lower priced product, to try selling more athletic product, to start partnering with other people. We're partnering now with a modern artist that's going to paint in our shoes. We started creating unique product offerings with another artist that did actually very well during the pandemic. So it just comes back to that idea that it may look bleak, but even within that bleakness, there's a lot of opportunity, and that's just kind of how you have to look at things. And same thing with my team, like making sure that they understand that they may not. They were hired to do X, Y, and Z, but now they're being asked to change and to shift a little bit. And some people are a little bit more open to change. Some are a little bit less open to change. But overall, I think that as long as they see that there's a long-term goal and that we're trying to get to it together, I think that the team, hopefully, thankfully has been the case in our situation, will kind of buy into it, and everyone will help everyone get to that goal.
That's awesome. Paul, I know that tough times always bring a lot of maturity to all of us who go through them. We have to do a lot of introspection and see what really makes us put together that fight, and find that energy to keep going. So with that, have you learned anything about you and how you want to be remembered, what you want your legacy to be? Have you given more thought? And could you share with us a little bit about what do you want to be remembered as being or representing or standing for? How do you want to be remembered?
Yeah, the reality is I don't think that much about legacy or how I'm going to be remembered. To me, the most important thing is that I'm a good father and a good husband and a good family member within my family. Beyond that, I think the only thing I can hope for is that I make a difference within my industry, which happens to be footwear. And I happen to have been in the industry for, long before I started Ace Marks. So at the very least, I'd like to leave a lasting impact in the industry and to have been remembered as someone that made some sort of a change or contributed something that didn't exist before. So that's that's at the very minimum what I hope I hope for with Ace Marks.
Well, that's an incredible legacy for sure, starting with family. And in terms of your industry, what are some of those things that you've changed so far in the industry, or maybe are one of the pioneers of, being at the forefront of change in?
Well, actually, I remember when I started Ace Marks, I got a very nasty email from a retailer in England, actually, of all places. And he saw that we launched on Kickstarter. We actually had one of the most actually the most successful at the time, forward crowdfunding campaign. And I remember he sent us a message that said, very nasty. So I'm not going to repeat the exact words that he used, but the idea was that we're ruining the industry and that we can't do what we're doing. So that was definitely a good sign early on that we're doing something different. Essentially, there's no one has offered the quality and value that we have at the price points that we have. And no one's offered the variety at these price points in this type of quality of product. So we're definitely making luxury much more accessible, which is our mission, making luxury accessible to everyone. And unfortunately, the word luxury gets thrown around a lot these days, and it's applied to, products at the dollar store even. But I think that we're trying to create real value around that word, and around our products. And it's something that hasn't been done before. And a few people have tried to copy us, but it's definitely not at the level of what we're offering. So that's what I hope will be the legacy of our industry, that we've made other businesses kind of up their game and increase the quality and increase what they're offering to the customer at the price points that they offer.
That's amazing. Paul, Leading Peers. So you joined Leading Peers a bit over a year ago. How has Leading Peers helped you? And on the back end of that, how are you finding that your participation is helping other members in their challenge, overcome their challenges and seize their opportunities? But let's start with you. How has Leading Peers benefited you?
So I think before I answer that question, I should probably say that I've always been the type of person that never thought there'd be any value in joining groups like this. I always thought that I'd just be wasting my time, that I don't have extra time to even spend with my family. How am I going to commit myself to a group like Leading Peers? And because of the pandemic, that's another thing that I decided, hey, I have a little bit more time on my hands now because we weren't selling as much as we were before. So let me try something out. And so I joined Leading Peers. And it was definitely an eye-opening experience because I realized that there is real value in getting together at least once a month with a group of people that have different backgrounds and different perspectives and different experiences. And everyone's, has an opportunity to focus on you and your problems of that month or your kind of goals for the next few months, and have a real conversation with amongst peers that are also business owners, are dealing with a lot of the same problems you are. And it's definitely been a great catalyst to growth for me. It's been a great way to bounce ideas off of other people that understand kind of what I'm going through. And maybe they're not experts in the shoe industry, but they have experiences in other industries that could be applied to what I'm doing. And so I think with every Leading Peers meeting, I think overall what I get out of it is that I kind of get stuck in my day to day. I go to a meeting and everyone kind of brings me back up to, hey, your long-term goals are X, Y, and Z. So why are you doing, A, B, and C? You probably should be focusing on, this other stuff. And it's kind of like a wake up call. Like, oh yeah, like I dug my head in a little bit too deep. I need to stick it out of the ground, pull it out of the ground, and kind of refocus on what really matters, where I'm really trying to get to. So that's probably the biggest value. And obviously friendship and camaraderie with people that get you and understand you has definitely been a plus, and something that I would have never expected. So it's definitely not a waste of time the way I thought it would be when I got. Actually, I didn't think it would be a waste of time going into it, but I was more open to joining a group where I'd commit my time to, other than my business. And in terms of helping other people on their Leading Peers journey, I think I can contribute the same thing that others contribute to me, which is just some insight and experience. I have experience in a ton of different things, from manufacturing, logistics, e-commerce, distribution, working with major retailers. And so I think the experience that I have in all those different areas of business maybe particular to footwear, but it's applicable to other sectors as well, will be helpful to someone. And I already do spend a good amount of time volunteering, friends of friends that always get directed to me in asking for assistance in lots of different things. And, I hope to do the same for anyone in leading peers.
That's a great answer, man. And would you say you've learned about business just from listening to other CEOs talk about theirs and being able to talk about yours?
Yeah, absolutely. I learned a ton about business. And actually, what's interesting is, someone in our group was recently went through the sale of their business, and I have no experience in buying or selling businesses, but during the pandemic, looking at other businesses is something that was very relevant to me. So listening to his monthly updates of what's going on with his business definitely helped me in my conversations with potential businesses that I would acquire or I wanted to acquire. So it all kind of like works together, and you end up getting information that maybe you didn't think was useful at the time, or maybe you couldn't apply it immediately, but eventually, you kind of pull up those little tidbits of knowledge that you learn at leading peers and apply it to different situations in your business. So you never know what you're going to learn.
Paul, last question for you. I know when you joined, I remember you told me accountability is really important to me. I want to make sure that the group that I become a part of, my peer board, makes me feel accountable to them for the results I'm bringing in. I don't just want it to be talk that leads to personal growth. I actually wanted to improve the results of my business. How do you feel that has played out for you?
Pretty well, because I'm by nature kind of all over the place, and so again, when I go to these meetings and they kind of bring me back to reality a little bit and help me refocus on what I should be focusing on in terms of what my goals are, it's very, very helpful. So every meeting, I know that I'm going to have to come present numbers, and obviously when we set goals in the beginning of the year, so I want to at the very least try to meet those goals, and again, that makes me. It forces me to really pick and choose where I'm going to spend my time. So it's definitely helped with accountability, and that's 100% true. Accountability is something when you're the founder or CEO and you don't have a real board, we're still a small business. It's definitely something that is lacking sometimes. And it's very helpful to have a group like Leading Peers help you stay the course and keep yourself accountable to yourself and to your business.
Well, it's been amazing speaking with you, and to see your journey as your numbers keep getting better and better, and you're emerging from this pandemic triumphant because of your hard work. I know you're a biker, and you just keep pedaling with your business, and slowly but surely you're getting places. I know great things will come from you and your company. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll be speaking soon.
Absolutely appreciate it. Thank you, Leo. See you soon.
See you soon, man. Bye-bye.